How do you feel about religion in the public?
Religion in the public? Well, it's everybody's opinion, how they want to,
Worship or spread their beliefs and such. So.
Right, I mean, that's why there's different churches throughout the state, so, people can worship however they want to worship.
Just in general, how do you feel about religion in the public?
Religion in the public? Where else would it be?
As opposed to like keeping your beliefs to yourself, like putting religion on billboards, your beliefs in commercials, radio, going door to door, knocking, trying to.
Oh, that is freedom of speech, and that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. Anybody who's on the other side of that can say no, thank you.
It's good. It gives hope to people. People need religion to have beliefs and morals, but some religion can go too far and could cause havoc.
I just don't like it when it's foisted on the public in an environment where you either have to listen to them or there is an expectation that you are going to have to believe in them for some reason.
I think it's one of those things where your religion is your religion. I don't think it should be running around in the public, personally. Your own beliefs are your own beliefs. I don't think it should be advertised and that sort of thing.
When it comes to the public realm, where we're talking government, we're talking school systems, in that situation there is absolutely no use. Should I say the word use? There's no point, there's no reason, there's no value in foisting religion onto someone in the public in that way.
Religion in the public, I guess I'm for it. I think you have a lot of problems because we don't have it, like the praying in the school. I think we should be doing that.
All right.
Or they should have a moment to say their own, even if it's in silence, I still think you should acknowledge it.
I feel that everybody has their right to, share their opinion with the world about anything, including religion.
I feel it's a good thing. I feel it's shown in many different categories. I guess it really depends on your ethnic background and where you come from, even how you were raised, definitely.
When you say what we need is a moment of silence, I say what we need is another moment of science.
Do you think they should still have like a moment of silence and stuff during school every day?
Absolutely. So everybody's connected somehow, some way.
Okay.
You know somebody, I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who's served in the service, who's died in a war somewhere. No matter what war it was, we still should honor the dead.
I don't think that a lot of kids do any praying, during that time. If they just want to have a nice quiet reflection time, that's fine. If they want to pray to Allah, if they want to, if they're into Wicca, yeah, okay, they can do that.
Do you feel we truly have any separation of church and state?
Yes, I do.
You do? Yeah. And more so than you prefer? Actually, all right. Do you feel we truly have a separation of church and state?
Well, no, only because we have to say the Pledge of Allegiance every day, and that has under God in it, But other than that, for the most part, most teachers, besides Mr. Wiley, don't talk about religion with their students.
Do you truly feel we have a separation of church and state?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
Do you feel we truly have a separation of church and state?
Not really, since a lot of the beliefs are very embedded into people's minds, and so kind of like it influences you on what your judgment will be.
Do you feel that we truly have the separation of church and state?
The Constitution does not say that at all. The Constitution says that the government shall not establish a state church.
Unfortunately, separation of church and state is very misunderstood. And those fundamentalists who want to foist their philosophy on the public do so because they believe that separation of church and state should really be illegal. And they claim that's because our founding fathers were very religious. And that's not true.
Well, they came from England, where England said, this is the church of this country, and that's the only one there is. That didn't happen here because people were aware. So there was never a suggestion of a government church.
One may believe in whatever you want. That was the freedom. And it was protecting the religious from government interference, because that's where they themselves had come from.
That's a misnomer. That phrase is not constitutional at all. It's nowhere in the Constitution.
They interpreted it differently. Well, that's fine, except that they're wrong. And separation of church and state is to protect them, not to allow the government to have that kind of interference.
Do you truly feel we have a separation of church and state?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think there's a lot of religion out there that it's totally. I don't know. I just think it's totally separate. That's a hard one for me.
It's separated, but it's trickling together.
Would you ever vote for an atheist as president?
No. I wouldn't.
I don't know, to be honest. I'd have to see what else is going on, but probably not, but you never know.
I wouldn't.
So more for you, do you think there would be or should be a separation of church and state, or do you think, because by saying like you wouldn't vote for an atheist, do you think they should have some religious background?
It's a personal belief for me. Like, I think that if, I don't care like what people believe, I don't care what God they believe in and stuff like that, and what religion, but if they don't believe in it, that's scary to me.
Would you ever vote for an atheist as a president?
Yes, I would. I mean, I'm assuming Obama is Christian. I'm not very political, so it could be that he was an atheist, and it wouldn't bother me either way.
Would you ever vote for an atheist as president?
If he was good. It should be measured on more than just religion.
Okay. But do you feel a candidate for the presidency kind of has a little more morals and values depending on like if they have a religion or not, or?
I think they should believe in a higher power.
I don't know. In all honesty, for a president, I want him to have a military background.
Military background. So, but as far as religion, do you think that kind of goes hand in hand, or like?
You know, when you boil it down, you're out in the field. You kind of find faith anyway, you know, somehow or some way. It doesn't matter what religion you look toward. You find somebody higher than yourself to believe in, because that's what you're fighting for, freedom.
Would you ever vote for an atheist as president?
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't care. It's not a big problem. Atheists are people too.
Do you think an atheist could ever run and successfully lead the nation president?
No, I don't think so, unfortunately. Yeah. I would love to see it, love to see it, love to see it. I don't think so, because I don't think that an atheist can overcome the feeling that too many people have that we're horrible, ogres, and untrustworthy, and all, as soon as you say that to a group of religious people, you sprout a tail and horns.
Would you vote for an atheist for president?
If he made a big deal about it, I think there's a lot of atheists already in government. They just haven't broadcast. They haven't come out of the closet, so to speak.
So do you think having like a religious background is, essential for being a president?
Benjamin Franklin said, a good government cannot exist without good morality. And the only standard for morality is God's law.
So you don't think people can, establish or make it known that they have like good morals without a religion? Or do you think like having a religion?
Well, a lot of people have good morals without having a commitment to Christ. But that they're getting like the residual effect of Christianity and absorbing those morals. They may not be true to them, so if they come under the acid test, you might not make it. I think we have a president in question now with that very same thing.
Does having under God and in God we trust and the pledge on the currency bother you at all?
It doesn't bother me. I don't think it should really bother too many people. It's just really just what people would say, you know.
No, I think it should be there. I'm really strong with that because I don't have like an organized religion. I don't belong to a specific church or anything. But I honestly, I don't know, I was brought up with it and I feel more comfortable with it.
Having like under God and in God we trust and all the currency and stuff, would you be upset if that were to be taken out?
Yes, I would.
So, like having like under God and in God we trust on the currency and in the pledge, and so it doesn't bother you at all or not?
Not at all.
Do you think it's needed to be there, or?
Me personally, yes.
All right. Does having under God and in God we trust and the pledge and on the currency bother you at all?
Yes. First of all, it's not just because of my own non-religious beliefs. Again, I think it's against the separation of church and state.
Do you mind like having like under God and in God we trust on stuff and like?
I don't mind it, but I don't believe in it.
Okay.
Because like I said, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in heaven, I don't believe in hell. I think that, like I said, it's like the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus.
It's hard to fight that, you know. Who can fight God, motherhood and apple pie, you know, that kind of a thing. And if you do try to fight it, then you are a horrible person. I'm not a horrible person. I'm a very good person. And but you know, it's one of the battles that I'm not gonna fight.
I try to live by basic principles. You know, be good, do good things, don't be a jerk, don't murder people, don't steal, and then we'll see what happens in the end.
The interesting thing too is that in the Pledge of Allegiance, in the under God is a more recent thing, 20th century, and unfortunately it was added to the pledge, and I wasn't old enough to deal with it then. So, but I don't say it.
And I think the Bible is like, oh, pretty much any religious tone is like playing telephone. I mean, if they're saying that goes back to thousands or millions or years or whatever, okay, you do that. Well, it's like telephone. You tell one person a story, by the time it gets down here, it's totally different.
I don't feel it's necessary. I don't feel like I have to. I can pledge allegiance to the United States without pledging to God too.
What would your opinion be of a man handing out Bibles in front of a public school?
Handing out Bibles?
It depends to me. If it was a specific denomination of a church or something like that, then I don't think that it's warranted. But
if it was general?
If it was general, I would
take a Bible?
I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
Handing out Bibles?
To the students as they like walk out of school?
If they want to pay for the money and somebody wants to come up and take one from them, you know, that's their time, but on school grounds, probably not, no.
Okay.
I mean, if they want to do it in an open venue, in a public place, that's something, but not on school ground, not on school property, no. School is a place for people to learn, not to peddle things.
Right, okay. What's your opinion of a man handing out Bibles in front of a public school?
Again, it's fine as long as he has that same belief. They put drugs and things like that to kids and contraceptives and what are the prophylactics. I think Bibles would just be done fine. If anybody opened the Bible and read it, they might be surprised.
Yeah.
What would your opinion be of a man handing out Bibles in front of the high school?
No. Off school grounds?
He was on school grounds.
On school grounds?
This actually happened, yeah.
Yeah, I was handed a Bible like
this year and it happened last year as well.
No. Absolutely not. And if the administrator was not out there to get his butt off property, then something's wrong there. I would call the police. It's not something that I would allow.
What is your opinion on religious representative, like soliciting any advertisement, commercials?
I think that's pretty wrong because that's just buying into people's minds, and it's kind of like, you know, why would you do something like that? God never said anything like that, and you know, just buying into people's minds, tricking people.
How do you feel about like any religious advertisement, like commercials, billboards?
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone has the right to advertise what they believe is correct, and if people want to be persuaded into certain advertisements, that's their choice, and what comes of that is, you know, their own fault.
Do you agree with like religious advertisement, like commercials and billboards? Like...
That's another thing. Sure. Hey, if they want to pay to put something on a billboard or on television, you can always turn the channel. You can always just turn your head when you drive by.
Yeah.
But if they want to pay for it to be there, it's not hurting anybody. You don't have to read it.
What's your opinion on religious representatives, like any soliciting? And
I don't find soliciting like warranted at all. Something that you should go and look for, or at least advertise to be solicited, I guess. Just solicitation is not.
I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah,
so what is your opinion of any like commercials or billboards that represent?
Billboards, I wouldn't
find it
mind.
demeaning. Like totally demeaning.
Really?
When you drive down the road and you see those, like, are you going to hell or heaven? I'm like, that's
I don't
not
mind
right.
those.
I don't like those.
I don't mind those.
What's your opinion on any religious soliciting, like door to door?
I don't prefer that too much because that's like way back when people used to come and try to sell dictionaries or something like that. I mean, you're home, you're having dinner. It's like getting a call at 6 o'clock when you just walk in the door and somebody's trying to sell you insurance. I mean, when you're ready to look for insurance, you go through the yellow pages, you go online, you do some research, and then you start making some phone calls to get some estimates. I think that's how it should be done.
Same thing with religion. You think people should just look for it instead of it being brought to them?
You know, it's different. Like in a venue, you know, like this. If somebody wants to stand around and hand out pamphlets and somebody wants to take a pamphlet, that's their prerogative to do that. That's their right. But I mean, to just knock on everybody's door, put one on everybody's windshield, you know, I don't think it's necessary.
Does that bother you at all when people like solicit their religion at all? Like door to door?
Well, everybody's like, well, yeah, because I guess I do have Jehovah's Witnesses that come.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if they want to voice their opinion, they can. I'll listen to them.
So, yeah, you're not objective to that?
I'm not objective to that.
So any like religious advertisement, commercials, billboards, or...
No, I think everybody's entitled to their own religion, and if they want to have the news time to do it, that's fine. People can choose not to watch it if they don't want to. So,
what would your opinion be on religious representatives, like soliciting door to door?
Oh, they're perfectly within their bounds to do that.
Okay.
And if you want to refuse them, you refuse them. It's as simple as that. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Do you ever talk to them?
Oh yeah.
See how they.
Oh, I welcome them. And I'll tell you why. There's one particular religious sect that typically goes to your door. You may know who I'm talking about. And so one day they came to the door and they wanted to do their thing, and I said no. I knew that they taught students. So I asked them how they taught science. And they, well, God did this, God did that, and science is, teaching science is all for the glory of God. And I said, okay, well, how do you teach religion, how do you teach evolution? And they bristled, like gasped. And they said, well, we do have this book. And it was a little blue book, and it was all about the, I don't know exactly what it was called. It was like the evolution controversy, So they gave me this book, and I was, at first, mortified, because as I'm reading it, that book quoted page after page after page with scientists that I knew, that I used in my own teaching, that I had written to, that I had quoted. They were using scientists like Stephen Jay Gould. Stephen Jay Gould, the foremost authority in evolution contemporarily. He died recently. A fantastic scientist. How could this happen? So I started to read through, and I picked up, it took me a year, over 75% of what they quoted had been a misquote. Now anybody can say that, oh sure, yeah right. I not only found the misquotes, I found the original sources. What had happened all the way through the religious book was that they had excerpted, they did science-ectomy, I call it, which removed the real science, the real meaning of the passage, and it completely changes it. And you know that. And you're warned about that in English. Well, they broke every written English law when it came to writing. And because it was so profound and so obvious that it completely negated the book. completely negated the book. So I invited them back. And I asked them if they believe that they knew the truth. Yes. Do you teach the truth? Absolutely. Do you teach what is written in your own book? Do you know what's written in your own book? Well, absolutely. And therefore, even these scientists say that evolution is wrong. So I read them the quotes, and they cried. They cried in front of me because they hadn't known that what they were teaching was a lie. Specifically written for the believers, the gullible, the uneducated, whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. It was so obvious it was hurtful. And I didn't want to hurt people, but I wanted to tell them the truth. And they walked out and never came back.
I think what's happening in the country now is really dangerous. We're losing freedoms right and left. Nobody knows. Nobody knows they're losing them. Awareness is the key. And the only way you can become aware is, number one, read the Constitution. You'd be surprised at what it says. Just very surprised. Get into a Bible study. No matter what your foundation is. Can't hurt. I mean, it's a bestseller book for all ages, so. And just see what it says.
I've been to several types of churches growing up. Like, I have a friend who's Jewish, so I went to a synagogue. I've been to Lutheran, Presbyterian, Methodist, and even spiritualism. And I don't know. It's just there's so many different things in it. It's for people to live their life based just on God wants it this way, and it's so narrow-minded.
I don't normally say this, but my dad died when I was in high school. And he was here one night and he had a heart attack the next. And I was the oldest of 5 kids. And I was the one who was the most religious because I had been through it. You will go there. Now, my parents didn't even go to church, but they had a lot to say about us going to church. So when my dad died, for the first several months, the normal grief process starts with anger, disbelief and then anger. And I thought, why? And where is he? Oh, he's gone to heaven. That's a bunch of crap. He's in the ground. He's worm food. He's being recycled. And I know people get so upset. That's what I want to do. I want to be a part of the world again. Well, that's how I'm going to do it. That's how you're going to do it. And actually, that's how everyone's going to do it. Oh, and by the way, I guess the rapture didn't happen, huh? Yeah, we're all here. Yeah.
I was looking forward to it.
I think people do get brainwashed. As I said, it's kind of like a cult. And yeah, when they start out with little kids, like going to Sunday school.
If someone says, oh, look at the beauty of those trees, the miracle of life. And I say, I know a whole lot about photosynthesis, and it's not a miracle. And, the more you understand, the more you see behind it. And all of the arguments that they can come up with. And there are lots of, classic one. And this was the one that they talked about in the Little Evolution book. The miracle of the eye, how could it possibly be something that was by chance? They don't understand. They do not understand the word chance. What is the argument is how did the human eye come to be if it was through millions of years of chance, random acts? Well, and what good is an eye that doesn't see? Like this. Well, if you look in zoology, if you're a student of zoology, you can find hundreds of eyes that are a whole lot better than ours. And so if God did it, why did he not do a good job? And our backs are bad because we actually evolved a little too fast. And the musculature doesn't really support us all that well. That's why we have that aching back, all the time. And our fingers, oh yeah, they're wonderful. They're wonderful. But there are animals that have better fingers than us. Yes, we have the opposable thumb. All primates do, though. And why is it just the primate line? I mean, if it's so good, you know, why don't puppies have them? You know, it's really good. And cats would love to have an extra opposable thumb, you know, to grab onto that little mouse. Why didn't God do that? You know, the body is not well designed. Consider where it was supposed to come from.
Lights will